Well, happy Wednesday, everybody. I'm so excited to have you all here. I'm so excited to be back again talking about everything about spirit and everything about anything that you guys also want to talk about. This is always my favorite time of the week because it is wonderful to connect with you, wonderful to talk about spirit, wonderful to talk about the love of spirit, learning about what they're trying to teach us, and see ways we can reach out to them, ways we can listen to them, communicate with them, understand them, feel them, know that they are always around us. And if you don't recognize me, if you don't remember me, or if you're new to my channel, welcome. My name is Chris Lippincott. I'm a spiritual development mentor, and I'm also an international medium. I really go around trying to help people understand that their loved ones are always here. They're just in a different form. It's like people are in a closet or in another room, right? Nobody's left. It's just they've gone to a different place. We can't see them. I'm also a best-selling author. I've written a book that really goes into describing that, describing where people are, what it's like, how you and I can all connect with spirit. And then it also describes a lot of the different readings that I've had the privilege of giving people. And it's just such a wonderful connection with spirit because they always come from a place of love and light. And one of my goals is always to try to raise the spiritual awareness and vibration of humanity, because that's really what it's about. It's nothing but our perception that is different. A lot of people say, oh, spirit doesn't exist, or that's not possible. It's just a matter of perception. When you begin to understand it, it really becomes a thing that's fully there. So welcome to the channel. Love to have you guys. Hi, Barb. Hi, KJ. Hi, Jane. Love seeing you all. It's wonderful having you here yet again. As you may remember, what we're talking about today is just talking about how we can expand and unfold our mediumship using the benefit of understanding as one of the best ways we can unfold and expand our spirituality. As you may have seen within the most recent description of what I was describing with in the channel beforehand, it's really all about how do we understand ourselves? How do we understand our spirit? Because what's one of the most important things that we need to do is to understand our spirit. And as one of the most famous mediums of all time, Gordon Higginson, has famously said, before you can understand and know the spirit without, you must first connect to the spirit within. And I always find that to be one of the best quotations. You've really got to understand that we are spirit. We may be wrapped in this physical body, we may be wrapped in this thing we call flesh, this trench coat, this muck that we're going through every day. But in fact, we are spirit within. And it's like that famous saying, we are not human beings having a spiritual experience. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So again, very different concept. It's a perception. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about today was really understanding. Why is understanding so important? Well, understanding is an important aspect to growing your spiritual awareness, because as you understand what other people are going through, you then begin to understand what you're going through. Because remember the basic principles of true reality, you create your reality. So the other people that are around you, you've actually created them. They're essentially an extension of you. So if you understand other people, you then begin to understand yourself, and you begin to understand your own spirit. And as you understand your own spirit, you then begin to unfold your spirit. And it's really something where you're expanding your own spiritual consciousness. And this is something that I find to be so amazing. If you're able to do that, then that's really where you begin to rapidly expand. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, why do I need to study spirituality? Why do I need to go to this, woo woo area? Why can't I just, fast track and go on to the mechanics? Well, you can, The problem becomes you're not going to fully expand your own awareness. You're not going to fully expand your consciousness. And it's going to become very difficult for you to have more detailed, more intimate, more complete conversations with spirit without understanding your own spirit and having that understanding. Now, one of the things that I do all the time is talk about what are spiritual components, what are spiritual aspects to our being and our unfoldment. So how do we understand this? How do we really go to different areas where we unfold what it is that we need to talk about? So one of the things I wanted to bring up initially was just this slide from one of my courses. I hope you can see it. It's really talking about why spiritual development is so important. And with spirituality developing, without it, you're going to limit things. You've got a greater awareness of self. You're able to connect with spirit. You're able to connect with the divine. You're able to connect with everything that is around you. And so as you do that, that is something that enables you to expand that much more. You connect and learn and understand all of the energy around the world, around yourself. You connect to all others. And that's really sort of the first stage to connecting to your spirit and unfolding your own mediumship. So as you do that, that's really helping you to really look at how you can begin to move from the first stage into the second stage. So what are some of the different spiritual qualities that you may need to understand? And that's one of the things that we've been talking about recently is the reality. But this whole month, we're going to be talking about different spiritual qualities, different spirituality, different ways that you can expand your knowledge base. And when you begin to think about spiritual qualities, it's really an aspect of having the God spark within us. So I would ask you first, before I even start going down this list of spiritual qualities, you tell me what you think some of the spiritual qualities that are important to have if you were to develop as a medium, or just it's important to have overall. Type in the chat box, what spiritual qualities you think are important to have, either as a medium or as a person or as anything else. Let me know in the chat box what you think are different spiritual qualities. Is it unconditional love? Is it joy? Is it, compassion? What are some of the different qualities that you think that are so important, that resonate with you, that you think are important to really develop your mediumship? And as you kind of go through that, some of the biggest ones that we find are actually some of the more important aspects of expanding our own spirituality. And for them, I think immediately we talk about understanding. You've got to have the ability to understand another person, understand where they are in their life, understand why they're doing the things that they're doing. Maybe somebody is yelling out loud and disrupting your peace, but maybe they're in a place in their lives where they need to do that. That's something they've been raised to do. They don't know anything else. If you understand where they are, you'll begin then to understand, okay, I get it. It's not that bad. And KJ is saying empathy. Perfect. Exactly. That's exactly what we're talking about. Another thing that we've got to begin to consider is acceptance. Not only do we have to understand other people, but we have to accept other people, accept them for who they are. We're always going out there trying to change people, right? I know I am. I know I'm going out and saying, well, can't you change? And can't you go do this? And can't you go do that? And can't you do things this way? Well, no, you can't make other people change. You can change yourself, definitely, but you can't make other people change. You can try to help them. You can try to improve them. You can try to give them suggestions, but you can't make them change. So there has to be that fundamental aspect of understanding, of just understanding the fact that you have to accept them as they are. And as you accept them completely, as you are, that then kind of turns into unconditional love because you're accepting the person as they are, warts and all, right? And that's okay. Another thing that you could look at would be we talked about empathy, which is awesome, but it's also non judgment. Non judgment. Non judgment is basically the other side of the same coin when we're talking about acceptance. If you're accepting somebody, you're no longer going to be judging them. So it's going to be non judgment. So think about accepting and non judgment almost in the same breath. If you go to a spiritual place and you start to begin to work with the concepts and the practices of acceptance and non-judgment, imagine how good you're going to start to feel. You know, we're in this world right now where everybody seems to hate everybody else. God, look at politics, right? It's like nobody can agree on anything. Wouldn't it be amazing if all of a sudden the world just like did a 180 and everybody began to accept everybody else? There's no judgment, and we all kind of went at each other from a place of non-judgment. What would the world look like, do you think? Just imagine about it, like dream about it, and just go, what would it look like if everybody accepted everybody else? Wow, what a difference this world would be, right? It's completely different. And it's like that goes to tolerance and then ultimately forgiveness. So the big thing that we're always hearing about, and all the religions talk about the same thing, right? Is forgiveness. So this is a commonality that we hear in both spirituality and religion, and it's forgiveness. Forgive somebody else, and you wind up forgiving yourself, because if somebody else did something under the reality principle, that's an extension of you, and you're ultimately forgiving yourself. So the more you forgive others, the more you're forgiving yourself. The more you're loving others and accepting others, the more that you're loving and accepting yourself. So everything that you're doing to other people, you are ultimately doing to yourself. So send love and healing and acceptance and non-judgment and forgiveness to everybody else. And you're ultimately going to be sending that right back to yourself. And that's the best aspect of it, right? So what are some of the things that we should be, doing when we understand all this? Because now we understand that, there's got to be compassion. We know that there's got to be acceptance and non-judgment and forgiveness. And we have to understand where the other person is coming from. We have to have an understanding of what their problems are, why they're doing what they're doing. And if we begin to understand them and we begin to change our perception of where they are and who they are and what they are, and maybe we'll just find out, oh, wow, that person's in a tough place. I understand them now. I extend them my acceptance and non-judgment. What a different way we'd be thinking, right? So that's completely different. So what are some of the ways that we can then practice all this? Well, that goes to very basic spiritual development practices. I'm gonna again ask you guys, what do you think are some of the basic fundamental spiritual development practices, right? I'll give you the first one. The first spiritual development practice, of course, is meditation. Why meditation? Because meditation enables you to calm down. Meditation helps you to calm the mind. Meditation helps you to gain focus. Meditation helps you to bring your attention to the self. And as you bring your attention to the self and you've quieted the mind, you then open your mind to the connection with spirit. And spirit is going to start having a very quiet conversation with you, one that you weren't able to hear before or even detect before, because your conscious mind was just going yappity, 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 yappity. And Melba's saying sitting the power. Yes, absolutely, sitting the power. That's one of the best types of meditation you can do, because that really brings your connection, to the top. And that's really how you can really bring your meditation, your connection to yourself and to spirit. attune to spirit, contemplate the divine, attune to the energies that are all around you. When you're in meditation, for example, if you start to feel the tingling around you, or you start to feel the energetic vibrations around you, attune yourself to those energetic vibrations. Start feeling spirit as it starts to come into your aura. Because what spirit's trying to do, spirit's trying to blend with your aura. And the more that you are trying to blend with them and you open yourself to them, they're going to try to blend with you. And so your guides, especially, who are the ones that are your principal trainers, your principal teachers, they are your best teachers. Your guides are going to be the one that come into your aura and try to train you and work with your energy. And Jane is saying one of the best spiritual practices is being open and receptive. Exactly. That's perfect. Because the more that you're trying to be open, the more you're trying to be receptive, the more that you're going to receive spirit, the more that you're going to get spirit connecting with you. And Pauline is saying, trust your first thought and intuition. Absolutely. It's perfect. Don't dismiss it. Because everybody's always saying, oh, that's just, it's my imagination, whatever. So Pauline, again, spot on, because it's like you got to trust. And one of the most famous sayings in mediumship is trust and surrender. Trust and surrender. Why trust and surrender? Because you're trying to trust all the information that's coming in. It's not your imagination, that's spirit. And then just surrender to whatever the information that's coming in. Don't try to control it. Don't try to say, okay, I got to have a name. I got to have an address. I got to have a social security number, whatever. Let spirit do the talking. Let spirit do the driving, or whatever that Amtrak commercial is, right? It's like, don't try to control it. The more you give up control, the more you surrender, the more you trust spirit to give you the information it needs, the better you're going to have. So open and attune, and just allow your intuition to connect. Express your own spiritual qualities. Pray in any way that you feel comfortable praying, because what you're doing is basically, prayer is nothing more than a focused thought. A lot of people think prayer, oh, I don't want to pray. That's religious. That's weird. I don't want to do that kind of silly stuff. Prayer is nothing but a really, really intense, focused thought. When you're saying, oh, I'm praying that they're going to score that basket by the buzzer. Oh, I'm praying for it, right? It's just an intense focus, right? You're really trying to make sure that thought happens. So you could be sending that prayer to a person. You could be sending it to spirit. You could be sending it to an angel, the divine, whomever it is. Doesn't matter. It's a focused thought, and that prayer, and the more sacrosanct you make it, the more respectful you make it, the more there's going to be a connection, because a prayer is just a focused energy. It's a focused thought, and that's all energy. And Melba's also saying intention. Yes, exactly. That's another one. That's another very important thing that you got to really bring to. And also try to raise your altruism. Try to think about ways that you can help other people. Because when you're helping other people, again, who are you ultimately helping? You're ultimately helping yourself. Because all that is around you is your reality that you've created. As you help others, and you're helping your own reality, you're helping yourself, and you're attuning to other people. You are helping other people. You're being altruistic to other people. You're ultimately sending them love, and that is the highest altruism you can do, is to send love to other people, send love, forgiveness, healing, and care to other people. And as you're doing this and you're helping other people and you're giving service to other people, what you're ultimately doing is you're growing spiritually, because that's one of the highest forms of growth that you can do. So it's all our benefit. It's all of our attempt. What we're all trying to do in this world is try to grow our spirit. Remember, the spirit within. We're trying to grow and expand our spirit, build our spirit, make our spirit one that is able to connect and become more aware of what is all around us. Hi, Rebby, all the way from Mexico. Love seeing you. This is great. Welcome. Also, one of the ways that you can spiritualize yourself is just allowing the right conditions for spirit to work with you. you've got to be open. And I see, I think they're, yeah, Jane was saying, be open. So again, gold star here. It's like you got to be open. You got to create the opportunity for spirit to communicate with you. Yeah, and Pauline saying the more that you push it, the more you become frustrated. You go into it, no expectations. It's just you got to allow it. So create the conditions that allow you to connect with spirit. The more that you connect with spirit, the better, because you're just, if you it's like open. It's like an open book. You're an open platter. Say, spirit, work with me, and they will, because that's why they're here. And like I said, Gordon Higginson's famous saying says, before you can connect with spirit, you must first find it within yourself. So I think that's really one of the biggest things we've really got to focus on. So today was all about understanding other people, understanding yourself. That's like one of the first steps to really finding out how you can allow yourself to unfold your mediumship, unfold your spirituality, grow your spirit, understand other people, begin to be more altruistic, begin to be more accepting, begin to be more non-judgmental, and forgive others. And as you do that to other people, you wind up doing this for yourself, because again, it's your reality. And we talked about that all last month. Last month was all about how you create your reality, because we are nothing but energy. And as we create energy, as we are energy, we're using our energy to create the energy that's around us. And we went into quantum physics, so I'm not going to repeat all that stuff. Oh, and Pauline is saying, yes, such huge losses in a year, many parts of life, cut 99%, who were only bringing negativity. That's perfect, because you only want to focus on the positive elements of the world. You only want to focus on those elements that are positive to you, help you to achieve greater positivity. And that's really what we're all here about. That's wonderful. Um, and Pauline's asking a great question. Does physical health, poor physical health, have a big impact? Well, I'm going to twist this around on you. Remember, as within, so without. So what you're actually experiencing when you look at your body is nothing but a reflection of the mental state of your mind, of the thoughts that you have created. Because remember, as Buddha has said so eloquently, all that we are is a result of what we have thought, past tense. So all the things that we are today are a result of what we have thought in the past. So it's critical to focus on what your thoughts are today, because your thoughts today will create the future you. As you step into the future, that future becomes your reality, it becomes your present. So focus on positive thoughts, focus on loving thoughts, focus on thoughts that love yourself, and you heal yourself. And the next thing you know, that your body suddenly becomes very different, because our body is nothing but a reflection of any one of the 7 different energetic layers that we have, that really are all stemming from our thought process. So when it comes to a question of, does poor physical health have a big impact, I would say it has a big impact in that it's a reflection of your thoughts. And if you're having a negative or poor health, that's a reflection of poor thoughts. So I would then examine your thoughts, examine your mindset, examine the interaction of your mind, your thoughts, whether that's past tense or current. There's an interaction going on here. There's a play there, because nothing happens in a vacuum. Nothing happens without cause. And the most basic cause that's going on in our life is our mind. And there's lots of science that backs that up. Whether you're looking at biology, quantum physics, it just it goes up and on and on and on. Practicing challenging negative thoughts and beliefs. So you may have been experiencing in the past lots of negativity. You may have been either experiencing or in an atmosphere of negativity, or dealing with people that were really negative, or really having a difficult time. I mean, heck, we were all going through, a bunch of years of COVID and, political, this chaos. I wouldn't wish on anybody. So we're all kind of coming out of this dystopian world where it's kind of like, oh my gosh, what would we had just experienced? So our minds are all kind of like, warped. And as a result, our bodies are really kind of, even in the collective, our bodies are all messed up because of our thoughts. It doesn't take too long to have that effect. So I hope that answers your question. But yeah, it is a reflection of thoughts, beliefs, mindset. So that's why I'm always trying to tell people, always focus on your mind, always focus on the energy that you're creating, because your thoughts are creating the energy, which ultimately reflect everything about you. And you're also then having an immediate impact on people around you, whether you're thinking at it just from an immediate perception as a human, okay, that's a different person, or if you understand it from the quantum physics reality that that person I see across the table is actually an extension of me, because we are both energy and I'm creating the energy, and so therefore my thoughts have literally created them. So depending on what your perception is, understand that you are affecting everything, both your body, your mind, your reality all around you. So I hope that kind of has sort of an understanding, if you'll excuse the pun. But yeah, this was, today was really all about how you can begin to walk down that path of spirituality, spiritual growth, mediumship, unfoldment. Because for a lot of people, you have to first expand your spirit, first begin to unfold that spirit before you can really begin to unfold the greater mediumship capabilities that we all have. We all have the ability to communicate with spirit. It's a question of what's your perception, what's your belief, what is your daily practice, what have you been doing? Are you open to the connection? Are you open to the energy? Are you allowing the connection, or are you, talking yourself down and saying, no, that's just my imagination? Well, if spirit was able to, get up on a loudspeaker, they'd be clearly telling you, no, this is not your imagination. We are really here. It's like going up to one of your friends, and you're just staring at them, and they look back at you and they say to you, "What, you think I'm not real?" Of course I'm real. I'm insulted now. So do you think spirit would be insulted when they say, I don't believe you? You're not really there? Of course they are. That's because we're energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed. That's why spirit is always here. That's why we are always here. And we are spirit. We just happen to be incarnate. They're spirit. They're discarnate. We're basically the same thing. So I hope that helps everybody. Do you guys have questions? If you have any questions, definitely type them in the chat. Love answering your questions. This is something, as you can tell, really passionate about. I wrote a book all about spirit. Spirits beside us, gain healing and comfort from loved ones in the afterlife. I wrote that book because it's really trying to get across the concepts that we are spirit. Spirit's always around us. So that book's really been well received, just because the fact that everybody begins to understand, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I get it. And it was because I came from a background of very material, very analytical, ways. So I had to comprehend it myself. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense to me. I got to have somebody explain it. So eventually, when spirit started, giving me information, I'm like, oh, I get it. I understand that. Also, I've got a school that I teach people how to learn, the very fundamental aspects of mediumship, even just the basic psychic elements, or the basic spiritual elements, or the basic ways that you can begin to expand your own development of mediumship into, becoming a full-time medium. Are you a person who really wants to go out there, change the world, help people, heal people, connect loved ones in the afterlife with, the people here in the physical? What's your goal? So it's really, that's why I created the school. So if I've got any other questions, I'd love to answer them. If not, my 30 minutes is all up, and I don't want to take anybody else's time, because I love having a concise show every week. So this is great. And Pauline's saying, I'm only 1 year into deep self-reflection, doing journaling, challenging old beliefs, and being open and trusting. It's a lot of work, but it feels amazing to be in my spiritual path. Thanks so much, Chris. Great. Well, yeah, and that's another thing. Pauline, you actually touched on something. Reflection and journaling, or actually reflection through journaling. One thing I always recommend for people is to write a journal to spirit, sort of write your spirit self, right? So by writing a journal every single day, that's going to be something that's going to be really powerful for you, because what you're going to wind up seeing is that as you write these questions to yourself, your soul, your higher self, you're going to then find that, in fact, this is going to be something that starts to change. You're going to start getting answers back that initially you thought, oh, that's just me. But the tone and the wording and the phrasing of the responses that you get back in the journals, like you ask a question and then you wait and you get inspired to write an answer, all these inspirational answers begin to change, and your higher self begins to start answering through you. Sometimes that channeling of your higher self even goes to a point of channeling spirit, channeling your own guides. And you'll start to notice that over time, things begin to shift. It's no longer things that you would write. It's no longer phraseology that you would use. It's no longer the colloquialism that you're familiar with. And you start to reread these things. You're like, who wrote that? And it starts over a course of time. It really starts to have this wonderful impact, and you begin to gain this intimate connection with your higher self and spirit that you never had before. So try that. Try writing letters to your soul. Try writing letters or journaling and asking questions of your higher self, and start to see what answers you get back. Just say, what do I need to know? Or how can I fix this issue? Or what are some of the things that are important to me in my future? Whatever questions you want to ask. And then wait and see what inspired answers you get back. And that's going to help you. You're going to be amazed. So that's it for night. Oh, Maxine, you asked the question, what is the name of the school? The name of the school is Montclair Medium School of Psychic Arts. In fact, I'll try to put this in the chat. So it's Montclair Medium School of Psychic Arts. There. So you can see that, and that's basically, it's also on my page, my home page, my website, where it's under montclairmedium.com. If you go to that tab, that's got all the courses on it, and that will actually take you to the school website itself. So look at those two things, and that hopefully will help you. So with all that, I send you love and light, and I hope you had a wonderful evening tonight and have a great day tomorrow. So with that, I send all my love and blessings, and hope to see you next week. Bye-bye for now.